Hi guys, today I'm going to be doing a sort of first impressions full face of Glossier or whatever I picked up. I ordered this quite a while ago. It did ship, it took a little while to get here. I didn't pay any customs and I will try to include the prices of what I'm using as I'm going through. I did pick up a little bit of skincare and some makeup. I am not super familiar with the brand. I already owned a cloud paint and a highlighter stick, but for me, this brand really seems like it's marketed towards people who have incredible skin and more fair skin, and I am neither. So I've kind of stayed away from the brand, but I was curious to try, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I got is the Solution Exfoliating Skin Perfector. I also did pick up a cleanser and a, what was the other thing? Makeup remover from them, so I'll have to report back. But what I really liked and what makes it a good deal on their website is they have a lot of different bundles. So I recommend checking out their bundles section because that's how I got most of this and you end up saving a little bit of money. I like that it has a pump top, but hello? Oh, whoops. Protector. The reason I wanted to try this is because it has an AHA-BHA blend. So if you're not familiar, AHA is something like a glycolic acid, which is going to help with the surface of your skin a little bit with the texture and tone. And then a BHA is something like a salicylic acid, and that's going to get a little deeper in the skin. Best if you have issues with pores, oily skin, congested. And it's not super common to be able to find a skincare product that has both. My favorite ever is the Drunk Elephant TLC. That has both. There's that red thing from Decium. This feels really nice. It has that like fresh feeling, but of course this is only my first time trying it, but I have heard people have really good experiences with it, so I will have to keep testing and report back. Then I'm going to use this oil serum hybrid. I've got a couple of oil serums. Maybe I should do a video on my favorite oil serums. This says to use it as the last step in your skincare routine or add to the high points of the face. I love the packaging. Looks so pretty. I have this and the priming moisturizer, so I'm going to use both. This will be kind of my semi-moisturizer. It's an interesting texture. It definitely feels thick. This probably wouldn't be something I would normally put under makeup as a more combo skin person, but as I continue to use the products, I will update you in favorites videos, duds, monthly makeup basket's going to come back. It doesn't feel heavy on the skin, but it is a little bit thick and sticky. So then I got the Priming Moisturizer Balance. This is the Oil Control Gel Cream, which sounds awesome. And I don't think I actually wanted to buy this, but it came in a bundle with something else. So I got it that way. And I love a gel cream. I think they have they've got a couple of priming moisturizers. This is super lightweight. Wow. It comes out like a gel cream, but then immediately, I've never felt anything this texture. Immediately turns into like water on your hands. I wonder how these two products will play together. Hopefully they don't pill. They feel good though. Surprising, one is so light and one's a little heavier. So moving into skin now, I had trouble picking out my shade in this, and this was part of the reason why I wanted to do this video, because whenever I go to match myself, there's very few people who have a similar skin tone to me. They're either darker or lighter, and then I need to kind of make a guesstimate, and I know that a lot of you run into that issue too, so I try to review the things that I find have the hardest time picking out my shade, because you are too. So this is the Glossier Perfecting Skin Tint in G5. I haven't tried this. I don't know if it's going to be a good shade match, so if it's too light or too dark, there's not much I can do about it. I'll have to add some bronzer, but I did have to buy this online with limited knowledge, so I'm going to use my e.l.f. sponge. But luckily it doesn't have a ton of coverage, so it will be a little bit more forgiving than if it was something full coverage. Oh, I might need to use well, I mean, this is not supposed to have much coverage, but she really doesn't have much coverage. Using a sponge is going to lessen the coverage. Do people use their fingers? I feel like that's what people with good skin do. Let me channel them. Seems to be playing nicely on top of those other products. Let me know if you're like a Glossier fan. I feel like people either love Glossier and own like a million of the bomb.com glosses or have never tried it. I feel like it's one way or the other. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more. It's giving very light coverage. For me, when it comes to products like this, a lot of the time I'd just rather use something like my NARS Tinted Moisturizer and just use a tiny bit, or Pat McGrath and use a tiny bit, or NYX Born to Glow. Because like these are not meant to be built up, you know? So if you're buying this with the intention of building up a lot of coverage, you're just going to waste product and it's going to sit really heavily on your skin. But this did help even things out. Nothing crazy. That's fine. She's au naturel today. I think the shade match is pretty good. I could maybe go one shade darker. Then I got the Stretch Concealer in G6. And I normally don't use pot concealers under my eyes, but let's try it. Oh, it actually has a great texture. It's not thick at all. Feels really good. I think the shade is okay, but it definitely blends out much easier than I was expecting it to. And they work well together because you don't want one to be like super full coverage and the other one to be really light. Like they seem to have similar levels of coverage. I don't think I would like this a lot for spot concealing. It feels like it doesn't have enough matteness to it, but that's kind of what makes it work under the eyes. I'll spot conceal with it a bit, but it's not really the right shade for it or right consistency in my opinion. That would have any longevity anyways. But under the eyes, I think it looks pretty good. I'm kind of like either full coverage concealer or no concealer. There's very few medium coverage concealers that I actually like that I feel like don't make my under eyes look worse. This might be making my under eyes look a little bit gray. The best medium coverage concealer I ever used was the Urban Decay Naked, and they discontinued that. The original. So I picked up the Wowder. I was unsure about if I should go translucent or get a shade for my face. I got it in the shade G5 to G7, which I appreciate that they did that. So it's like if you bought G6 or whatever in the foundations and this is the powder that's going to match for you, I really love when brands make it easy. You know, you're like, I want to spend my money on you. Why are you making it so hard? So it's loose but has this kind of net. It looks light in terms of the color. Really, really lightweight. It's flying everywhere as I tap it. But I think this is going to be a nice powder. I love, like I've really gotten into lighter powders. Like you know how much I love my Charlotte Tilbury airbrush. This is a really nice powder, I think. That actually kind of brought things together. I wasn't sure about my face. I feel like it was looking so shiny. I'm gonna put it all over my whole face. I feel like it was looking shiny and that brought the shininess down. It feels, and I like do keep in mind as well, I did put that oil serum underneath. I wouldn't necessarily pair those two products together. But now, there's something to this powder. Hello? This looks really good. Oh! I forgot the cloud paint and the holographic stick. Okay, now we're going to see how they work over powder. This is why I almost never wear creams. It's not that I don't want to. I just never remember to because like you just go into autopilot mode, especially when I'm blabbing onto you. I have the cloud paint in the shade Dawn. Really beautiful orange. And I love cream blushes. I like this blush a lot. Lots of drugstore brands are coming out with them now too. And they're easier to work with than Instagram makes them look, I promise. Tons of pigment. I'm gonna use my sponge. They seem to work nicely together. I think because everything is quite light. You can use your fingers too. You know, I always talk about like rich people's skin. That's what I feel like Glossier is made for, but I kind of feel like it's minus my under eyes. My under eyes definitely look dark, but my skin itself, I'm like, she's getting to rich people's skin level here. And then I'm going to use the Halo Scope. This is in the shade Topaz. And this is a stick highlighter. I love cream highlighters, but I generally don't prefer them in stick format just because I feel like sometimes they can drag on the skin or they can be a little bit stiff. And I find this does a little bit, or kind of finish, I guess. With no like major shimmers in there. It has like this kind of wet look. And they're both pretty forgiving on top of the powder. I am just going to powder, oopsie, a little bit over it. just in case. But it didn't seem like it moved anything around. So I just looked up a little bit closer to my skin, and I actually do feel like that highlighter has a little bit of shimmer in it, which I don't like. That's not my preference. Let me bronze. I like to bronze before I do my brows. I have the Boy Brow, the frickin' Boy Brow. That seems to be like the cult favorite product from Glossier. I tend to not like an eyebrow gel that has like a small brush because I've got a lot of brow hair and I feel like they just don't get in there and get enough hold. But I figured I would try it. You guys know how I feel about the Benefit 24-hour brow setter. This is Boy Brow, and what shade did I get? Oh, I got clear. Tiny, tiny, tiny. For me, I'm looking for shape and hold. Okay. I actually like it so far. Huh. Kind of gets in there a little bit more than I expected it to. And it's not super shiny, it's almost like a matte clear, which I like. The brush is really good. I like them to look fluffy, you know, I don't want them to look geeky, you know? Does that make sense, you know? I want my brows to look fluffy, not geeky. So good at describing things. Okay, so I popped on some mascara. I used this Buxom Extrovert Mascara. Now I picked up the gloss. So they have so many lip options, but I was like, this really appeals to me. I'm a bit of a gloss gal lately. So this is the clear transparent, but it has a bit of a pink hue to it. I've never tried their Balm.com glosses because I don't love a gloss that you need to squeeze out onto your finger. Oh, she's thick, but I love a thick gloss. Ooh. I like this a lot. I think I would like maybe put a lip liner on with this or something to give it a little bit of color because it is very clear. I think if you don't like sticky glosses, this is borderline going to be too sticky for you. I prefer it because I think it makes it look glossier and it has more longevity, but it is thick. Reminds me of a MAC lip gloss. Ooh, why don't I actually put a little bit of this on my lips? That's what a Glossier girl would do, wouldn't she? There we go, a little bit of color. Okay, so first impressions, I think things look really good. For me, I think the thing that wowed me the most was the Wowder. I will need to report back on the Boy Brow and see how that holds up, but I do really like that look, and I know I love the cloud paints as well. I will need to keep testing out the skincare, but that gel cream had a really interesting texture, super lightweight if you're looking for a lightweight hydrator. The oil serum feels really unique, and I have high hopes for that solution. My skin seems to respond really well to AHA, BHA blends historically, so yeah, I gotta say, like, I was gonna film another video after this, and as soon as I put on that tint, I was like, this is not gonna be enough on my face for me to want to film another video after this, but I actually like the way that this looks now, and I am gonna film another video after this if that's significant for you at all. So, okay. So I'm just getting home and I still have my lights set up, so I figured I would show you my face. I'm really surprised with how it all held up. Sorry, is out of focus, but it looks really good. Like, under my eyes is not great, but my face looks good. Like, I was wearing a mask. I took the streetcar twice today. I haven't been doing that much lately. Not a lot of transfer, and while I've lost a lot of coverage, it is like, because it's so light coverage, it doesn't look like I've lost a lot of, it doesn't look bad. So I'm pretty surprised with how it held up. Rue is mad anytime I leave for like any period of time. I get a tongue lashing. But yeah, I gotta say, I'm pretty surprised with how this held up, and I will continue to test it out and report back, but I was unsure of how it would go, and it went pretty good. Highlight is still there, blush is still there for the most part. A little bit shiny, but I haven't touched up. I haven't been extra careful. There's these. Most beautiful nuggie in the world. Alright, that's it. Anyways, I just bought Halloween candy to eat for myself, so I'm gonna go do that. Thanks for watching. Bye!